we had the privilege of being able to go to Big Island, Hawaii on a family vacation. So we were there, and if you've ever been or heard about Big Island, much different than Maui. Maui's beautiful, sand all over the place. Well, Big Island, there's a lot of lava everywhere. So you have to really search to find these sandy, majestic, gorgeous Hawaiian-type beaches. Well, we found one. And it looked like a postcard. When we walked down the ramp to get to it, it opened up and it looked like something that was on a postcard. And we think, this is the most beautiful thing I've ever seen in my entire life. So we had our snorkel gear. First time Channing's been there. So I've been there once before, so I'm kind of trying to tell him, hey, you need to kind of pay attention to what you're doing, and blah, 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 when you get out. Yeah. So, of course, Channing being the man that he is, he said, okay, and then he takes off. So, I'm fiddling around and doing whatever, and I look up, and he is way out. Like, way out. So I'm freaked out, because I'm thinking, he's going to get out there, going to get lost, and then I'm never going to be able to find him again. So here I am, and I'm yelling, Channing, get back, having this fit, right? So he goes, okay, fine. Look how big he is. He's physically fit, and so one big stroke is like a big wave for him. So he takes off, and we're probably a quarter of a mile from the beach, maybe. We're out there. He takes off, and I said, okay, I'm coming. Well, something really awful happens to me. I get scared. And I'm not scared of water at all. But I look up and the waves are pushing against me, and I am freaked out because he's gone and I'm out there all by myself and I'm gassed. Now, if you've ever been in the water, what's the one thing they tell you never to do? Panic. Then you start moving faster and you start kicking and then you get exhausted. Well, he's gone and I'm out there all alone. It is the very first time in my life that I thought I was going to die. Because I had no endurance, I had nothing. So I really was at a point right then and there that I had to make a decision. Do I fight through it, or do I just give up on it? And I can kind of see them in the distance, and I'm thinking, I can't just not show, I can't just, I'm not really being dramatic either. I was scared. So I thought, well, instead of going this way, I'm going to go to the shortest point. So I'm going to go over to the rocks, try to get over there, catch my breath, and kind of inch my way. It took me 30 minutes to get back. I was hot when I got back. Mad because there. But guess what? I was in a storm. A very personal storm out there that I didn't think I was going to be able to make it through. And it was real hard for me as I look back on it to celebrate, because how many times does Christian people say, hey, if you're going through a rough time, that's where you should be, because that's when you're doing God's work. It is. It's crap. Do we really want to hear that when we're struggling and going through the hard stuff, that's what God wants for us? No. We don't want to hear that because we don't buy into it. We don't believe it. And we talk about celebration, and we talk about hanging on to His promises and His love and all this other kind of stuff. But sometimes we just can't do it. Let's just get down to the reality. Sometimes we are in storms. We are in the middle of an ocean all by ourselves. And sometimes we just can't say, I love Jesus. I love Him and I believe in Him and I understand. Sometimes we just can't do it and we don't want to hear about it. And that's just the reality of it. And it's not because we don't want to. It's because we just can't do it. How many of you and me and us have gone through things where all of a sudden doubt started to creep into your mind about Jesus and about your faith? It happens to everybody. You walk into a church, and unfortunately, there's life that goes on. And you walk in and you're carrying this burden with you. It doesn't make any difference how great the message is. Chances are, when you leave out of here today, that burden's still waiting for you. Because I'm not so egotistical to think that I'm going to take you to the top of the mountain, and by the time you walk out of here, your world is perfect. It just doesn't work that way. What causes storms? What kind of storms do we fight? Sometimes they're financial. Sometimes we get ourselves in financial pickles, and we look up and think there's just no possible way that I can get through this. Does that affect you? Sure does. Sure does. Sometimes it's relational. Husband, wife, brother, sister, mom, dad, kids. Any of us been there? Storms, right? How about emotional? How about emotional storms? Sure we do. Sure we have them. Sometimes we cause them on ourselves. Sometimes somebody else brings those about on us. What about spiritual storms? Anybody ever fought with spiritual storms? Anybody ever hated a church because of the way you were treated?